Alright, the latest update dropped a little bit ago, and after testing Zani, seeing how the meta has shifted, it's time for an updated tier list. Before we begin, keep in mind if a character lands in D tier, that doesn't mean they are unusable. You can't clear endgame content with it. It just means it's going to be tougher, less efficient. Some Tower of Adversity stages favor specific characters, so this list is more about overall performance, with every single character having their best in slot weapon equipped. How do I rank my tier list? I mainly look at the raw damage, ease of use. For an example, Calcharo has insane damage potential in theory, but if he gets staggered, needs to dodge, he loses a lot of damage potential and will make him need to reset a bunch of times to live up to that potential. That will drop his ranking. For sub DPS, it's all about fast damage, strong outro buffs, and a smooth team rotation. Healers, they need quick concerto gain, universal buffs, while keeping the team healthy. Now, do you know what the tier list is based off? Let's get into the first character on the list. Alright, the first one on the list, Spectral Rover, in my opinion, currently has a pretty solid place in the meta. He has been performing insanely well with the introduction of Zani and Phoebe, and does a little bit of everything, is pretty solid sub DPS, does some pretty good numbers actually, and is able to heal a little bit, on top of applying Spectral Frazzle, making characters like Zani work and Phoebe. So we're going to be putting him on A tier, just a solid character overall. Next one is Verena over here. Verena, I mean, you're going to use her regardless. She's an insane good character. You get her for free at the start of the game. Heals really well, builds Concerto, one of the fastest in the game, and has a pretty good buffs. Overall S tier. The only reason I'm struggling not to put her on SS tier has to do with Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper overall just does a little bit more, and I really want to reserve the SS tier for the best of the best. Encore overall is just a solid DPS, a lot easier to play, pretty bursty. Overall, just a solid damage. Solid B tier character. Calcharo, as you heard in the intro, has a little bit of an issue where he's just very inconsistent to play. You will need to be able to reset a bunch of times in order to pull his rotations off properly, get staggered quite easily. Overall, in the right hands with like a highly skilled player, can definitely be a solid A tier unit, but with the overall skill of most people and RNG based mechanics, he'll be in C tier. Jianxing is a pretty underwhelming character, is a standard banner character that got launched at the game, has a bunch of issues where most characters will not benefit from the buffs that she gives. She does a little bit of everything, she's able to shield, but her outro takes so long, or her concerto builds so long to build up, that almost every faster option will just be able to do better. So for now, she goes in D tier. The fucking goat here is just an amazing solid character, launched at the start of the game, is able to do clear multi-wave content quite easily. Unfortunately, this tier list isn't based off Wuthering Waves, otherwise he would definitely be higher up on the list. With his massive grouping, solid damage, he struggles a little bit against bosses that move around, and he has a bit of energy issues, so he's not perfect, but definitely a solid character. If you pull him, you'll definitely have a good time. Now, Yunlin is a little bit of an interesting character. In the beginning, before the beta, she was apparently supposed to be like the best character in combination with Calcharo, but with some nerfs, she ended up not being as good as we thought she was going to be. Definitely still a solid character, but her rotation is quite slow, taking valuable time away from the DPS, and that damage that she personally does isn't enough to put her higher on the list. But for now, solid B tier character. I mean, Zeshi buffs a fuck ton, is a really good sub DPS, does pretty good numbers with off-field coordinated attacks, gives a little bit of energy to your teammates as well, so it makes their team building a little bit easier, and is overall just a solid unit. Easy S tier. Jinxie is an amazing pick. She has the highest screenshot per number damage output in the game. She has a couple of issues that in the first rotation her damage isn't up there yet, so her damage comes on later on to the game. Overall, amazing unit. Put her in S tier. Cheng-Li is an amazing quick swap sub DPS, but her kit isn't fully being utilized so far, with most characters not being able to benefit from it. I think with future Pyro characters, her tier will definitely go up. She can quick swap quite fast and do pretty solid damage overall, so she'll go into the A tier. Lingyang overall just has very low multipliers, struggles in AoE content because he's very single target focused. Even with the highest investment, friends of mine have shown that he can theoretically clear, but with such high investment and such low clear time, just isn't worth building in my opinion. We'll put him in D tier. Shorekeeper, I don't think I need to explain too much with the amount of crit rate, crit damage buffs, fast concerto that she brings, keeps your team alive really well, actually does pretty solid damage. It's just an easy SS tier character. Anybody who's trying to clear endgame content probably should try to pull for her. Zheng Liao, we got him for free at some point, and has been a solid damage dealer ever since he came out. You can comfortably clear endgame content with him with some pretty good investment, and I would say the only tricky thing about him is when you're using his ultimate, you slow down time and then it goes back up, and that can sometimes be a little bit tricky to use. Outside of that, it's just pretty solid in terms of damage. Camellia has been in the game for some time. She's been really amazing, really nice for multi-wave content as well, has pretty strong AoE, has 2 small nukes that do pretty good damage, and is overall just an amazing character. Jixia also does pretty solid damage, and with the introduction of Brand, is actually able to clear endgame content quite well. Has a couple of issues, for an example, that she can't parry, but that isn't as big of an issue as people may think. But her damage just isn't up there with some of the other DPSs. We'll put her in C tier. She can also kind of get interrupted a bunch of times, so that also kind of makes it a little bit tricky to use. So she is very Brand reliant. Baja is just a solid healer. If you don't have Shorekeeper, it's a good alternative option, but has very slow concerto build-up and makes it very hard to use quickly, making your overall time in a time-based content slower, and overall it's just a B tier option. I mean, Carlotta is just an amazing character. She generally just cannot miss. It's very easy to use. Even if a Crownless is flying around, you'll just be able to just quick scope him out of the fucking air. So her damage uptime will just be non-stop. You just cannot miss with her. Even with her ult, with like gun users generally being very single target focused, she's just able to like swoop a whole wave of enemies if used correctly. And for that, just easily gets into the SS tier. Rochia has pretty strong buffs and good grouping potential, but slow concerto and lackluster damage. That kind of keeps her out of top tier. But it's pretty good with Havoc, Rover, or Camellia. Overall has a bit of issues, so we're going to be putting her in B tier. Phoebe was already a strong, solid damage dealer, but with the introduction of Zani, becomes essential into amplifying Spectral Frazzle, and supports Zani perfectly. So it's just an easy SS tier unit. Brand is a sub DPS that has shielding utility, healing, and powerful buffs. Great with Jixia, Carlotta, and other characters. He buffs skill damage as well. That's why he's also so good with Carlotta. Pretty solid character. Overall, A tier. Cantarella. Decent damage buff, but with slow concerto build up and overshadowed by better alternatives like Sanghua in most teams. Just doesn't have a place yet, but I think in the future she will definitely have some more teams where she's going to be good on. It's just, keep in mind, she's already really good on a lot of teams, just not best, right? I mean, Zani is just one of the she's just the highest damage dealer in the game currently, and paired with Phoebe, she does have a little bit of a skill ceiling up to a point, but definitely worth learning, considering she does the highest damage output in the game right now. Easily SS tier. Havoc Rover is a strong free DPS with a pretty good build that nukes pretty well. Pretty easy to build, just lacks a little bit of AoE, and that makes him A tier instead of S tier. Arrow Rover is a little bit of an interesting kit and has specific debuffs that he can take advantage of, but not a single character currently takes advantage of that. He'll definitely go up on the tier list in the future. His E1 is currently only available, so that will also make a massive impact. And I think with the introduction of card Thea, she will definitely work really well with him and eventually rise up. But for now, D tier. Danjin has a interesting playstyle where she depletes her HP when she skills. So there's a little bit of risk to her. I will say a more lower skill player will sometimes just get fucked with her and just die. Overall, it's a really fun character to do like solo challenges, but outclassed in most teams, honestly. So C tier. Alto has low damage scaling, is overshadowed by Mortefi and other characters. High investment needed for very low payoff. D tier. Tauchi is a free-to-play friendly support hybrid with slow concerto gain and long heal time. That kind of holds her back. C tier. She definitely still has a little bit of a place in like the Carlotta teams, for examples. That's why she is in D tier, but that definitely has her place, but not amazing for sure. Mortefi is a staple sub DPS ever since he came out in the beginning of the game. Great buffs, fast concerto, solid off-field damage, and best in slot for Gion. Overall, just a solid A tier character. John Woo, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Some of these names I will butcher for sure, but has a little bit of a brake mechanic focus by trying to get the brake bar to brake faster, but currently just is underutilized with content right now and is pretty useless. And it's just very easily replaced. D tier. Sangwa is a top tier support since day one. Ultra fast rotation, solid buffs, and incredible value. She's free. Everybody should genuinely build her, if I'm being honest. And yeah, her considerable build up is so insanely quick. Yang Yang, fast energy regeneration, but low damage and easily replaced by better subs. D tier. Yohu is a coordinated attack buffer, but not favored in current team comps, outshined by Baija and Verena. Those are both free, so it kind of doesn't really give her a place in the meta, although in very specific instances can definitely be decent. It's definitely not worth building over Baija or Verena. Lumi is the last one on the list, has pretty good buffs. Honestly, just isn't that good of a character. Definitely worse than Tao Chi, and does a very similar job as Tao Chi with almost the exact same buffs. But that she'll go in D tier. So yeah, now that the tier list is done, hopefully you guys understand a little bit more about every character and what their pool value is. Please let me know in the comments below what y'all think of it. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.